Hello everyone, I just thought I'd jump on to make a quick video and show you all how I've been doing some really quick, super simple book page pockets to use up some of my book pages and some napkins. So here's what they look like. Super easy, just a standard pocket. It's done with a book page and a napkin, so I'll jump right in and show you what I've been using. So book page, doesn't matter what the text is, because if you have a busy enough napkin, it will hide most of the text that you don't really want to be reading anyway. So I will show you quick how I do them. Separate my napkin, if I can. Make sure when you're doing napkins that you take your for both layers, or if you have more than one layer, make sure you take all the layers off, or else you will just be gluing the white part of the napkin. Ask me how I know that happens. So I'm just going to take all the white off the napkin. So I've got my napkin right here. I found these at, I can't remember what store I was at the other day, and they were just really, really pretty. So I figured, well, why not? So I got my book page sideways. This is the bottom, the torn edge from your tearing it out of the book. That's the bottom of your pocket. The flat edge is the top. So what I do when I'm making mine, sometimes I will use iron-on adhesive, like the stuff that quilters would use or garment makers would use to stiffen fabric. Or I will just use a glue stick. You can use attached napkins however you want to. You can use decoupage. You can do, like using the Mod Podge, I just use a simple glue stick. It almost feels like linen paper when you're done, or some kind of textured fabric. It feels more like fabric or a textured paper when you're done using the glue stick. It's not as messy as using Mod Podge either. So I just take my glue stick, cover my page really well. Don't worry about it if it's not perfect, because I mean, we're journalers that use vintagey inspired older stuff, old looking stuff. So my book page is adhered to the napkin. I'm just going to wipe the glue off my mat before I flip it over and show you how I make sure that it stays stuck. Wipe the glue off. So once I have it adhered, I just grab a old credit card or junk mail that you get in the mail, turn it upside down, not that way, and go across the back of the page just to make sure that your paper is stuck. And like I said, anywhere that's not really stuck, you can add just a little bit more glue. If you missed a corner like I just did, just add a little bit more glue to the paper and stick it down. Now I have some that are already dry because I knew I was doing the video, so I figured I'd get some done up ahead of time. So I will just put this one aside and let it dry. And then I have some other book pages. This is out of a learning to write Chinese, I think it was, text, workbook. That one, and then I have a dictionary page stuck on the back of, stuck on this napkin, stuck on a book page, dictionary page, and then this one's on a book of poems from a children's book. So I'm just going to quickly cut off the excess napkin. And again, this is just a super, super really easy, quick way to use up some of our napkins and some of our excess book pages, especially ones that we may not want to actually read what the text on them is, or if the text is not relevant to the project we're doing. I'm just going to leave the napkin like that. I'll tear it off after. So again, you just cut the napkin off your book page. You want the bottoms of these to be a little bit more frayed, so I'm going to use the frayed edge of the book page itself, and I'm also going to fray some more of the napkin after I get it shut into a pocket. I'm going to sew mine. If you don't want to sew yours, you can do, you can glue them shut, you can staple them shut, you could do whatever you wanted to do with them. I'm going to sew these with the bottoms of these ones. I'm going to glue the sides of the pocket together though, because I can't put a tube through my sewing machine. Just doesn't work. So this one's a little more straighter, so I'm just going to cut it off. Again, you want a rough cut. You don't want them to be perfectly nice. And this one I'm just going to cut off the straight edges, and I'll leave the bottom of this one. You can use any size book page. You can make tiny little pockets doing this. You can make bigger pockets. You can use map pages. You could use pages from an illustrated children's book. And again, it doesn't need to be super perfect because we're just going to be gluing them shut and sewing them and wanting them to be all ratty looking and a little older looking anyway. See that? I couldn't even cut that one straight. So I'm going to take the first one, little crabs and sea creatures, and I'm going to ink all my edges first. I've got Ground Espresso right in front of me, so I'm going to use Ground Espresso. Ink my edges first, especially the sides, because you want to make sure that you have, when you glue it together, that it looks like it is old and was meant to be that way. I'll ink the tops of the pages and the bottom after I get them all stuck together. So there's the first book page with the napkin adhered to the front. I love the texture of it. And then my book page on the back, and I'm just going to fold it into the middle. You can make them as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. I tend to go by the top of my straight edge, just to try and kind of keep them straight. Fold them over. Fold it over, and then I'm just going to take my Bearly Arts glue, and I'm going to run a bead of glue down the outside edge of this one and the inside edge of this one. You could even use this part as a pocket if you wanted to. I'll show you after it's all glued together. So there's that all stuck together. And it makes a tube. We're using up scraps, using up things that I might not normally use. So there's my little tube. I'm going to run it through my sewing machine across the bottom just to zigzag the edge of it. I'm going to use a zigzag stitch on mine, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's complete. It's a super, super easy project. Sorry for the noise of the sewing machine, but I can't kind of sew without turning my machine on. Kind of one of those necessary things. So I'm going to go to, I'm using a fairly wide zigzag too. And there it is, all sewn shut. My thread's pretty much the same color as my napkin, so I can't really see it. I'm going to use my circle punch and to put notches in the top of the envelope. You can put notches in if you want to, you don't have to. I just like the look of it. And then I will ink the rest of the edges of my little pocket that I just made. You could use these in the fairy swap if you're doing the Spring's Fairy Swap. You could use them for Happy Mail. You can use them in any of your books that you're making. You can theme them with whatever napkins you want to use. It's just a super, super quick and easy way to use up some of our random pieces that we have laying around. And once the glue on the napkin is dry from gluing the napkin on, they're super, super, super easy to make. So there's the completed pocket. You can stuff them with whatever you like to stuff them with. That was a quick and easy one. I will put together the rest of these and post a picture of them when they're done. You could do this with book pages and napkins. You could do these with fabric. You could do them with whatever you wanted to do them with. They're super, super easy and quick little makes that you can add to whatever project you're making. So have a great afternoon, everybody. Bye for now.